Thanks for joining us here at Functional Bliss, where Audra and Jessica will guide you through exercises and wellness techniques to help you live your best life every day. It's in the name, after all, Functional Bliss. Before you do anything else, click like and subscribe and ring the bell so you'll know whenever we put up a new video. To join our Blissful Gang for live Zoom classes where you can get more direct suggestions and encouragement, go to our website and sign up. Check the class description below for any equipment needs, grab your gear, and let's get started.
So we're deeply involved in silliness today. All right, so come down, take your time. We're coming down into a tabletop position. And then right away, so you're gonna check in. Do your knees want a cushion? Do your wrists want a cushion? And if so, grab your little blanket, get it situated so everything feels nice. Once you're in your tabletop position, we're just gonna take a moment to stabilize. So you're gonna spread your fingers nice and wide, index fingers pointing to the front end of your mat, and then push down into your knees and into your hands. So nice, even distribution of your weight. Pressing down into the hands, pressing down into the knees, a little bit of broadness through the back of your body. Take a nice, generous breath. And then take a moment here to stay in this nice, strong tabletop position. No need to move, but just focusing on the breath. But feeling underneath your hands and underneath your knees. Notice the solid, sturdy earth or grounding underneath you. Take another breath. Feel that even distribution of your weight in your hands and in your knees. And then just take a moment to imagine that your tailbone and the crown of your head are reaching away from each other. So there's not much movement that's going to happen, that you're just going to feel as you press down into your hands, press down into your knees, your spine gets a little bit longer, even if it just means energetically. So there's no muscle action that's deeply happening, but just find that sense of reaching. Reach your tailbone away from the crown of your head. Take one more big breath. And then we're going to just start to wag our tail. So you're going to wriggle your hips from side to side as if you're going for that C-spine, like you're trying to hug your hip towards your shoulder. Now, normally we go hip to shoulder, right? But today, just to start, just wag your tail. So hug your hip towards your shoulder, but your shoulders are going to stay pretty steady. There might be a little bit of movement. There might be some movement in the spine and in the shoulders, but as much as you can, keep the upper body stable. All right, one more wag of the tail and then take it into a tip of the tail. So lift your tailbone up, tuck your tailbone down. So just a pelvic tilt, upper body is going to stay pretty stable if it can. Nice. One more pelvic tilt, and then we're going to move back to that wag of the tail, but now take it into C-spine. So hug hip to shoulder, squeezing in at the side body, maybe even looking over your shoulder as you start to find some work here. Nice. One more C-spine each way, and then come back to center and move it into your cat-cow. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale to round your back. Take a couple times here, just working with your breath rhythm and then giving your spine, your back, and your abdominal muscles just a little bit time to find a little bit of warmth. All right, one more cat-cow here. Now we're going to stick with cat-cow for a few, but we're going to add on just a little bit. So next time you come to a little bit of a neutral spine, curl all of your toes under. And then once you've got your toes curled under, take it back to that cat-cow, just keeping the toes curled under, see how that feels. And of course, any little add-on that we put on, if it doesn't feel good, leave it off. Now we're going to add on again. So the next time your belly drops into that cow position, stay there and then add a nod of the head up and down. And then once the head comes back up to neutral, round your back into that cat position, drop your belly, hold the belly down, nod your head down, lift your head up, and then come back to that cat, round the back, drop the belly, keep the belly down, tuck your chin down, lift your chin up, round your back. Beautiful. And now we're going to add on again. Drop the belly, tuck the chin down, lift the chin up, round the back, pull your butt sort of back towards your heels. Not all the way, but just a little bit. And then come right back up to table. Drop the belly, keep the belly down, tuck the chin, lift the chin, round your back, pull your butt a little bit back toward your heels. Come forward again, drop your belly, tuck your chin down, lift your chin up, round your back, pull your butt back towards your heels. And now we're going to stay with just the rocking of the butt back towards the heels. So we're going to keep the toes curled under, but just a light and gentle rocking forward and back. And then as you move here, start to notice your wrists. Are your wrists starting to feel a little bit fatigued? Maybe soften your fingers, soften the palm position on the ground. Take one more forward and back, and then we're going to release our toes and take it into a semi-child's pose, semi-puppy pose. So we're going to walk the hands forward, but let your butt come a little bit back towards your heels. So there's a little bit more of an even weight distribution. A little bit of weight is in your butt. A little bit of weight is in the upper body. Let your chest, your elbows, your forehead, let everything sink down as far as it can go. And then once you're in that sunk down position, take 3 nice, big, generous breaths. Once you've done about 3 nice, big, generous breaths, we're going to lift ourselves back up. Come to tabletop position, curl your toes under, pull your butt back towards your heels. We're going to lift up into downward facing dog, but take your time. And then once you're in downward facing dog, we're going to bend the knees a bit more. Bring your butt weight back towards your heels a little bit. Take it off of the shoulders. Take a nice big breath. Now we're going to start to walk ourselves towards the front end of our mat. So if you've got a prop underneath you and you need to scooch it out of the way, go ahead and grab it, move it off to the side. And then when you're ready, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, take your time. We're going to come into a ragdoll fold. So we're going to keep our knees super generously bent, make some space for your belly, make some space for your chest. Let your spine sink down. So we want to go for a little bit of traction here. If we can, think about letting your spinal column, the crown of your head, get as heavy down towards the earth as you can. One more breath in this soft, heavy position. And then if it feels good, we're going to start to walk it a little side to side. So fingertips are going to do the walking over to the left, walking over to the right. And then as you walk here, let your ankles kind of gently move a little bit. Let your knees be soft so they move a little bit. Let your hips move just a little bit. Let everything move in a nice, gentle, organic way. All right, take one more little walk side to side or even yourself out. And then as you come back to center, we're going to move right into half forward fold. So as you inhale, hands are going to glide up to the shins, lengthen the spine. Exhale, bend your knees, soften back down to the ground. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften back down. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften back down. And now we're going to come to half forward fold. Stay there. Hands are going to walk up to the hip creases. So you're going to find that space where the hips and the thighs meet. Press into that space like you're trying to make yourself into a nice 7 shape or an upside down L shape, whatever shape you feel like you look like. Press into the thighs, lengthen through the crown of the head again. Reach your tailbone and crown of head away from each other. Pause here for a moment. And now we're going to keep that length. We're going to keep that strength, but we're going to release our hands from the hips. So release your hands and just hold that space for a moment. And then when you're ready, hands are going to find the thighs again. Bend your knees a lot. Push firm into your feet. Rise up to standing. Pause in your standing position and then just give yourself a moment. Notice how your body feels. Notice your equilibrium here. And then when you're ready, inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, hands through heart center, hands down at your sides. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hands through heart center, hands down at your sides. One more just like that. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, hands through heart center, hands down at your sides. And now we're going to go with the fold added to it, but we're also going to do a big clap overhead as we take those arms up and overhead. So as you inhale, arms up, give a big clap. Exhale, bend your knees and fold down towards the ground. Inhale, half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up, clap your hands up above your head, hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. We're going to do that again. Inhale, arms up, clap overhead. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up and clap overhead. Hands to heart center, hands down at your sides. Nice. One more just like that. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Oops, I forgot the clap. We'll add a second one on top. Inhale, half forward fold. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push into your feet. 2 claps overhead just to make up the difference. And then bring your hands to heart center. Pause here for a moment and notice your palms. So notice the sensation in your hands, especially there might be a little bit of tingling from that clapping sensation. Take a breath. And then we're going to keep those prayer hands together, a little bit of pressure between the palms, fingers close. Inhale, lifting up and looking up. Exhale, bring the hands back to the heart. Now we're going to flip the fingertips forward and press out from the heart space. Inhale, reaching out. Exhale, pull it back to the heart. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, pull it to your heart. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale, pull it to your heart. One more time through. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, pull it to your heart. Inhale, reaching forward. And now we're going to open our arms in front of our heart space, lift them up and overhead. And now we're going to move right into some standing twists. So one hand's going to reach back. You're going to look to that back hand. Arms are going to lift up and overhead, meet in the center. Exhale and twist to the other side. Inhale, reaching up, maybe looking up. Exhale, twist and look to the back hand. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, twist to the other side. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, twist. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale to twist. Come back to center. Arms are going to be up above the head, and we're going to sink into a light baby chair. So you're just going to sink down into a little seat. Rise right back up. Sink into a little seat. Rise right back up. Sink into a little seat. We just want to bring a little bit of warmth to the knees, a little warmth to the tops of the thighs, right back up. And then we're going to exhale, cactus the arms, open your chest, look to the sky, just a nice opening through the heart space. Inhale, reaching back up, grab that beach ball above your head. Exhale, back to cactus arms, pull the elbows down, open and expand through your chest. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, cactus your arms. And then this time from those cactus arms, hands are going to come behind the back. Grab your hands together, interlace the fingers, any little grab that you can find here, and then just a light bit of pumping of the arms away from the back of the body. So just a little bit of movement in the shoulders, a slight opening through the heart space, a little bit of tug in the collarbone area. Take one more little lift and lower, and then release your hands down at your sides. Pause for a moment in your mountain pose. Feel your feet connected to the ground, lift up through the top of your head. Take a breath. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, inhale, arms up, hands are going to come together, come into prayer and sink into chair. Stay in that chair position. Slide your right leg back. We're going to slide to a warrior one position, and then we'll open up into warrior two. So you're going to drop the back heel down, adjust your toes as needed, feet as wide as you like them to be, so it feels like a steady and sturdy lunging position. Once you're there, sink a little bit deeper into that front thigh, prayer hands together, lift your arms up, lift your gaze. And then we're going to open up and rotate into warrior two. So you're going to pivot your hips out to the side. Arms are going to rotate out to the side. Little reach out through the fingertips. Pause here for a moment. Notice your breath. And now we're going to lift the toes in the front ball foot. Lower the toes back down. Just the front foot. Lift the toes in the ball of the foot. Lower it back down. Do that one more time. Lift the toes in the ball of the foot. Lower it down. And now we're going to straighten the front leg. Both toes are going to turn out to the side, and we're going to move right into a slightly pigeon-toed wide leg fold. So pigeon your toes slightly, bring your hands to your hip points. Think hip crease or hip hinge, fold yourself down. Go for a halfway point first. Notice how the backs of your legs feel. And then if it feels good to do so, your hands are going to come all the way down to the ground into a nice wide leg forward fold. Once you're here, we're going to go for little baby mini bends of the knees. So think mini lunges. Just bending one knee and then the other. Let your hips rock a little bit side to side. Now from this folded position, we're going to go 3 twists on each side, but we're going to go for a slightly dynamic pace. So make sure your legs and your feet feel solid on the ground. And then once you've got your way there, left hand underneath your nose lined up on the ground, right hand's going to reach up for a twist, and we're going to switch right away. Right hand's going to touch down, left hand's going to reach up. And then we switch again. Left hand touches down, right hand reaches up. Right hand touches down, left hand reaches up. Left hand touches down, right hand reaches up. Beautiful. And then come back to center, both hands on the ground. Bend your knees a lot. We're going to roll up into 5-pointed star. So roll your way up. Take your time as you roll up, and then we're going to shine super bright. So arms are going to lift and reach outward. We're going to draw energy up the legs, up the side body, out through the fingertips to the edges of your skin. And you're just going to take a moment here to shine super bright. So think about like the way that kids walk around on this planet, just big and bold and beautiful and bright. So find all of that brightness, bring it out to the edges of your skin, maybe bring it to the corners of your mouth. Take a nice big breath, and we're going to take a big fold from here. So when you're ready, soften your knees, hip hinge, fold yourself down, and then we're going to walk it around to the front of our mat. So take your time. We're walking into a lunge. Bend that front knee, Walk your heart forward. Now we're going to plant the palms, step it back to downward facing dog. Plant your palms, slide that foot back, take a moment. From downward facing dog, we're going to shift forward into a plank, but we're not going to stay there very long. Bring your knees down right away. Lower gently down onto your belly. 3 low cobras here. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. One more time. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, lower down, push your way up to tabletop position, curl your toes under. Exhale, up to downward facing dog, and then we're walking it right up to the front of your mat. So take your time, look forward, walk your feet up to meet your hands, or just come to standing and walk yourself forward. Any way that you get there, totally up to you. Once you're at the front end of your mat, 1/2 forward fold. Inhale, lifting up. Keep that length in your spine. Bend your knees, push into your feet. Inhale, arms up. Hands to heart center. Hands down at your sides, and we're going to take that right to the other side. Inhale, reach up, grab that, prayer hands together, sink into your chair. We're going to slide the left leg back, coming into that warrior 1 position. So slide your left leg back, get your steady, stable position. Once you're there, sink into that front thigh, arms reach up and overhead. And now we open up into that warrior 2. So the hips pivot out to the side, adjust your legs, your arms, your body as needed, and then see if you can draw up the legs, up the side body, out through your fingertips. Pause here, take a breath. And now we're going to lift the front toes and the ball of the foot. Lift it up, touch it back down, lift it up, touch it back down, lift it up, touch it back down. And now we're going to straighten the front leg. Toes are going to turn out to the left side of the mat, a slight pigeon of the toes if that feels good. Hands to the hip points, hip hinge, pause at the halfway point. Notice how this feels. And then if it feels available, hands are going to come down to the ground. Little micro rocks from side to side just to give yourself some space, and adjust your feet as needed so the wide leg fold feels good. Once you've got your legs adjusted, everything feels good, we're going to move right back to those dynamic twists. So left hand on the ground, right hand's going to reach up for a twist. Inhale, bring it back down. Other hand reaches up. See if you can connect the breath now. Inhale, lower that hand down. Exhale, other hand reaches and twist. Inhale, lowering down. Exhale, switch and twist. One more time through. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, reach and twist. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, reach and twist. Lovely. Both hands on the ground. Pause for a moment. We're going to roll up. So you're going to bend your knees a lot, pull the abdominal muscles in, roll your way up to that 5-pointed star. And then as you roll up, pull that energy up the legs, up the side body, out through the fingertips, shine nice and bright. Take a moment here to just find it. Feel that bit of tingling sensation out through your fingertips to the edges of your skin. Take a breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, soften everything. We're going to tuck the chin down and just roll it back down to the ground this time. As you come back to the ground, we're going to walk it around. Pivot so that you find a lunging position at the front end of your mat. Take a breath. Plant your palms. We're going to slide that front leg back to downward facing dog. Shifting forward into a planking position, but not staying for very long. Just pause for a moment, feel your strength, and then lower your knees with control. Lower down onto your belly. 3 low cobras here. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. Beautiful. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale to lower down. We're going to push our way up to tabletop position. Curl the toes under. Exhale up to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, this time we're going to walk to the center of our mat. So we're going to walk our feet a little bit forward, walk your hands a little bit back. We want to find the center of our mat to give ourselves some space. Once you've found the center of your mat, pull your abdominal muscles in, roll your way up to standing, take your time. And then from here, we're going to start with just a little twist. So shirt sleeve twist, arms are just going to kind of swing at your sides. You're going to notice how this feels. You're going to let your head and your eyes move in a sort of organic way. So you're not in too much control, but what we're just tuning into here is noticing your equilibrium. Are you feeling dizzy with just this little bit of twisting? If you get here and your equilibrium is already a little bit questionable, then this is where you're going to stay and you're not going to go much further than this. If this feels fine, everything's feeling good. Now you're going to take your hands out a little bit wider. We're going a little Wonder Woman, right? And then we're going to swing our arms and then see how it feels. Now you're not going to go super fast, But now you're going to keep your arms in a steady position and you're just going to start to walk yourself around in circles. Make sure you have good space. Make sure you go slow enough that you can pay attention to how you're feeling. You do want to hit a point where you feel almost slightly dizzy. When you hit the point where you feel almost slightly dizzy, that's when you're going to stop. You're going to pause for a moment. You're going to let your hands come down. You're going to let your eyes focus on a single point for a moment. Notice your breath. Notice the energy in your body. Take a moment. And then assuming all of that felt good, we're going to go in the other direction. So hands are going to come out at your sides. Maybe you take a couple little twists just to feel yourself out. Notice how things are feeling. And then if all is feeling good, start to walk yourself in circles. Go slow to start. You can pick up the pace, assuming you feel safe and comfortable doing so. You want to get yourself just to the point where you almost feel dizzy or just you start to feel that little spinning sensation, and then you'll stop. You don't want to get yourself to a point where you can't catch yourself or catch your equilibrium. So find that spin, take one more spin around, even if you're not dizzy yet, and then let everything settle for a moment. Eyes focused on a single point, let your hands soften down. Take a breath. And now we're going to take it into a little bit of bounce. So take all of that fun energy that you just brought into your body by spinning like a little kid, and then bounce it all the way out to the edges of your body. Shake out your bones, give everything a good wiggle and a shake. This is good for our lymphatic system, and it's also just good fun. So give everything a good bounce, a good wiggle, a good shake. And then when you're ready, let it all come to stillness. Notice your body, notice your breath. Nice. And then when we're ready, we're going to fold down again. So you're going to tuck your chin down towards your chest. You're going to roll your back away from that imaginary wall behind you. We're coming down towards a tabletop position. So take your time as you roll your way down. Once your hands find the ground, step your knees down, slow and careful. One cat-cow here. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale, round your back. Neutral spine. Now we're going to keep the hips in line with the knees. Take it into puppy pose proper. Hands are going to walk forward, or heart melting pose, whatever you like to call it. Arms walk forward, chest softens down. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Now we're going to slide the arms in. So elbows and forearms are going to come down like we're setting up for our Sphinx position. Once you've got your arms in place, step your feet back like you're going for a low plank, but you're just going to take that low plank to soften your way down. Once you've got that sphinxing position, pull the elbows energetically back. So it's not a real pull, but we draw the elbows back, lift the heart, press the heart forward, press your crown of your head up towards the sky. Take a breath. Now see how this feels. For some of us, this may already be enough. If this feels good and you want to, take a couple little bends and straightens of the legs. As you bend and straighten the legs, you might find it's a little intense, especially in that front pocket area. So just make sure that your body feels good about the work you're doing. Lovely. Take one or two more bends and straightens of the leg, assuming that feels good. Now we're going to take our upper body into a lower position. So you're going to walk your elbows out like we're going for that crocodile pose, elbows wide, hands stacked. You're going to rest either your chin or your forehead on your hands, but we're going to start by just bending the knees, swish the heels a little bit side to side. Once you've got that going on, let your head rest for a moment. Take about 2 more times each side. All right, and then when you feel ready, let that come to stillness. We're going to lift the head, reach your right hand back and see if your right hand can catch hold of your right foot. If you don't catch hold of the right foot, no problem, but that's where you're going to land. You're just going to keep that little bit of reach without grabbing hold. If you've caught hold of the foot, just hug it in a little bit closer. See how your leg, your knee, and your front pocket area are feeling, and then release. And now we're going to switch to the other side. So you're going to reach your left hand back. See if you can reach to the foot. No worries if you can't, but if you can't, then you want to make sure that you just go for that reach and hold the reach. If you've got hold, hug the heel in a little bit closer, take a little squeeze, and then release. And now we're going to see how it feels to take both hands back. Both hands are going to reach back. Now you might not grab hold, so you might just do the reach and work the muscles in the back of the body. But if you can hold onto the feet, ankles, or tops of the feet, whatever grab works good for you, pause in a softer position, notice your breath, notice your body. And then this might be enough. You might be here and this is plenty. If this feels good, but you want just that little bit more, you're going to push your feet into your hands. Your hands are going to create a little resistance. You're going to come up into that bow pose. You're going to take 3 breaths. And then slowly, mindfully release. Let go of your feet, come back to that crocodile position, or let your head rest entirely. So just turn your head to one side or let your head rest on your hands. But once you're in that restful position, take 3 nice big breaths. Once you've done those 3 breaths, lift your head, slowly and mindfully bring yourself back up to a tabletop position. Take your time as you come up. And as you come into that tabletop position, notice, does your body want a little bit of a cat cow? Do you want to wiggle out your hips? Is there anything going on in the low back that needs a moment to find its way? And then once you've kind of wiggled everything out that feels good, we're going to spin our legs out to one side, flip your legs around, legs out in front of you, nice and long. Now we are going to set up for that half shoulder stand and possible plow pose for anybody who wants it. But if you want a cushion underneath the tops of your shoulders and your cervical spine, grab your blanket and just get it in position so that it feels like it's going to cushion you. And then once you've got your way there, we're going to start by coming down onto our back. So get your cushion in place, come down, pause for a moment. Notice how the cushion feels underneath you. Is it underneath your shoulders? Is there a little bit of cushion underneath your neck? Now we're going to start by coming into a bridge pose. So feet are going to be about hip width distance apart, heels close to the butt, hands alongside the body. Start by just lifting your hips up. Take a moment here. Notice the back of your neck. Notice your shoulders. This may be enough. This is a lovely place to be. It's a nice big back bend. Heart's a little bit above the head. Notice how this feels. If this feels good and this is where you want to be, maybe you'll take a couple up and down, or maybe you'll stay there in a static hold. Totally up to you. If it feels good and now you want to go a little bit further, you're going to pull your knees up towards your chest. You're going to come up into that half shoulder stand. But we want to make sure that we keep our head in a steady position. So if you know where you're going, go ahead and go. But if you need to look first, turn your head back up towards the ceiling. And then we pick the hips up, we support the low back, we let the knees come in towards the chest. That may be enough. If this feels like a good position, you'll stay here. If it feels like it's not quite right for you, go back to your bridge. If this feels great and you want just a little bit more play, legs are going to extend up above your head. Toes are maybe going to touch the ground. Don't worry if they don't. This can be compressive, so make sure you feel like you can still breathe comfortably. And then when you're ready, you're going to slowly, gently, mindfully release. Bring your knees back in. Slowly float your way down. If you stayed in that bridge position, now lower your hips down and then take a moment here just to notice. Let that little wave of blood come back into your body. Take a breath. Beautiful. And now we're going to move into some supine twists. But if you had that cushion underneath you and you kind of want it out of your way, go ahead and take a moment to just reposition your props and then come back down onto your back. Pull your right knee in towards your chest. Let your left leg go nice and long. We're going to take that right knee over and across the body, right into supine twist. Right arm's going to open wide, head turns in the opposite direction of your knee. Before we release this position, the hand that's out at your side is going to stretch up above your head. So you're just going to, or as far as it will go comfortably. You're going to reach your hand up and you're going to reach up through the fingertips and down through your hips. So think big good morning stretch. Inhale, lengthen and reach. And then as you exhale, soften, pull your right knee back in towards your heart space. Bring the left knee into meet. So both knees in towards the chest. Take your knees, draw them in some gentle circles. Draw them in some gentle circles, go the other way. Awesome. And then we're going to move right into supine twist on the other side. So hold on to your left knee, let your right leg go long. Take that left knee over and across the body. Maybe your left arm opens wide and maybe you turn your head in the opposite direction of your knee. Beautiful. Before we release this side, left hand is going to stretch up above your head. And then once you've got your arm up as far as it feels comfortable going, now we're going to do that yawning stretch. So you're going to inhale, reach through the fingertips and down through your hips. You're going to create some length in the left side of the body. As you exhale, soften, pull that left knee back in toward your heart space. Bring the right knee back into meet. Take your knees, draw them in circles, go in one direction. Take your knees and draw them in circles, go the other way. Beautiful. And then we're going to go to a soft legs up the wall. So you're going to just float your feet up towards the sky. Knees are going to stay generously bent. Point and flex your feet. One more point and flex of the feet. And then we're going to take our feet and twirl them in circles. Circle in one direction. Circle the other way. Lovely. And now we're going to clap our feet together. And you're going to go for a little bit of a clap if you can find it. So for some of us, it's going to mean just turning the feet in. But if you can get a little clap to happen with your feet, clap them. Clap them 2 more times if you can. And then once you've clapped your feet about 3 times, give your legs a big, gigantic shake. Shake, shake, shake those legs out. Get that little bit of venous return happening. Get that little bit of lymphatic movement happening. So shake them just as much as feels good. And then once you've shaken your legs just as much as feels good, take it into a light little pump. Bend your knees and straighten your legs. Bend your knees and straighten your legs. Go for 2 more if you can. Just now that we've moved that lymphatic fluid, now we want to pump it back down. And then when you feel ready, you're going to float your feet down to the ground, step your feet slightly wide, take them into some windshield wipers, just swishing the knees from side to side. Find as much movement here as feels good. Awesome. One more swish of the knees from side to side, and then pause for a moment in constructive rest. Let your knees drop in towards each other. Bring your hands to your belly, and then just take a moment here to come back to your breath. Notice your inhalation coming in through your nose. Notice the coolness of the air as you breathe in. Notice your exhalation. Notice the warmth of the air as you breathe out. Notice the solidness of the floor beneath you. Notice that sense of spaciousness in your space above you. And then ask yourself, where would be your best Shavasana? Would it feel good to stay in constructive rest? Would it feel good to take that more traditional shape, walk your feet nice and long? Would it feel good to go back to legs up the wall or maybe roll to one side? So any position of the body that might feel good, get yourself set up. And then if you're in a chilly space and you want your blanket or your sweater or your socks, make sure you get yourself tucked in so that you don't come out of your Shavasana feeling all cold and stiff. And then once you've found your way into a fairly comfortable position, just give everything a little bit of time. Give your mind and your body a little time to come together and assimilate all the work that you've just done. You always have the option to stay in your Shavasana just as long as you like. But if you feel ready to do so, or if your morning requires it, Start by just gently reawakening the fingers and the toes. Stay with the fingers and the toes for a moment. Notice that gentle coming back to life just in the fingers, just in the toes. And then when you feel ready to do so, take it into the wrists and into the ankles. Just a bit of light and gentle movement, nothing extreme. It doesn't need to be extreme to be good. And then maybe if you start to notice a slightly deeper breath come back into your body, then start to move the other parts. Move your elbows, move your knees, move your hips, move your head. Any light bit of movement here that just lets your body come back to a sense of awakeness. And then once you feel a little bit more awake, if it feels great to do so, you're going to walk your legs nice and long. You're going to reach your arms up and overhead, and you're going to go for that big yawning good morning stretch. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. Take that nice big inhalation. And then in your own way and at your own pace, find your way up to a comfortable seated position. So you might choose to rock and roll up. You might choose to roll to one side. Take the time to find your way up in a way that feels good. And then once you found your way up, we just want to be able to sit up nice and tall. So any seat that lets you sit up into that tall, comfortable position. And then we're going to start by taking our hands and we're just going to twist to one side and give a good clap off to one side. And then you're going to twist to the other side and you're going to bring your hands, you're going to give a good clap off to that side. And then you're going to see if you can bring your hands behind. You might have to hinge forward, clap behind your back of your body, and then bring it to the front, clap right in front of your heart space, and then start to fire up your palms and get them nice and good and hot. And then once your hands are nice and good and hot, you're going to open your hands up like a book, reach them up and overhead. You're going to touch the space between your shoulders or as far as they reach, and then glide your hands forward. Pull that lymphatic fluid toward your heart. And then once you hit your heart, flick them out, bring them back together, fire up your palms, get them nice and good and hot. Once your hands are nice and good and hot, open them up like a book, reach them up and overhead, touch the space between your shoulders, drag your hands towards your heart space, flick your fingers out. Clap your hands back together one last time. Fire up your palms. Get them nice and good and hot. Once your hands are nice and good and hot, open them up like a book. Reach them up and overhead. Touch the space between your shoulders. Drag your hands as you glide your hands toward your heart. Flick your hands out. Bring them back toward your heart. A little clap. And then bring your hands to heart center. Settle in just for a moment. Notice your breath. And then our last exhalation is just going to be the silliest, most fun exhalation you've ever done. So inhale through your nose. Hold and retain the breath if you can. Your tongue is going to go between your lips. And as you exhale, you're going to let out a nice, good raspberry. A little silliness to carry with you through the rest of your day. And then once you've raspberried your lips just enough, especially if it made your nose tickle just a little bit, give your nose a little wiggle, bow your head gently towards your heart, breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and for all of your hard work. And then breathe in a little extra love and gratitude that you can carry with you through the rest of your day and share with everyone you see. And then when you feel ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday morning cartoons day.